We tell ourselves stories about the way the United States is, how people from all different places around the world come to live in peace and harmony. They come to live out the American dream. It's true to some degree. My grandfather came to the United States at the end of the Second World War in order to seek out a better life in the United States. He met my grandmother, had 4 children, the oldest of which was my father, Michael Lauber. So in a sense, this is my story, my family's realization of the American dream. In this video, I include an interview with my grandfather, Larry Lauber. I call him Grandpa Larry, but when he came to the United States 60 years ago, he was known as Lorenz Goldsherrick. Once in Cleveland, Ohio, my grandfather changed his last name back to Lauber, his father's last name. I know this sounds very confusing, but with the help of many primary source documents, I was able to piece together my family's history, which I present to you now.
Where I was born, okay? Well, I was born in former Yugoslavia. There's no more Yugoslavia, okay? It's all Serbia now. Anyway, we fled from there in 1944, and we fled to Austria.
What was the need to flee to Austria?
Well, as you know, that was the end of the Second World War, was coming to an end. And the Russians were getting closer and ever closer. So we fled so we don't fall underneath the Russian regime. So we fled to Austria, which was more safe. And then we finally met. Well, first we were in one area in Austria where the Russians came in, but we fled from there to the other side, in other words, eastern part of Austria. They call it over, under and over Austria. So we fled to the other part of Austria where the American sector was coming in. See, one side the Russians were coming in, the other side the Americans and English were coming. So we went to the sector where the Americans took over, and we spent, from 1944 until 1952 in Austria. And in Austria we applied to immigrate to the United States, which was April 26th in 1952. We arrived in New York. When I came here, how old I was? Yeah, I was 19 years old. I turned 19 in February, and we arrived here in April. So I was 19. I got a job in a steel mill, and I worked there for about a year, and then I went into painting. I learned a trade, and I stayed with painting rest of my working days, and I'm still doing it until, well, I'm 80 years old now, so that's a long time. No, we lived on Story Avenue first. My family bought a house. We were here only maybe 4 or 5 months. Pooled our money together, my brother John and myself and my dad. We pooled our money together and bought this house on Story Avenue. So we all lived in that house until my brother John, they had a couple of kids, so the house got too small, so he bought his own house. But I lived on Story Avenue when I did meet your grandmother, Joanne. She used to come roller skating, which was close by where I lived. There was like a roller rink, and she loved roller skating. She used to go there with her cousin Peggy, I believe. And my brother Mike was also enthusiast in roller skating. So he knew Grandma before I did. So he introduced me to her. And, well, I guess we kind of liked each other right away. And we went steady from then on. And the rest is history, basically. We got married about a year later, right? What is it, a couple of years later? Yeah, you were only 16 when I met you, yeah. Yeah, she was still in school. And we went steady for about a year or so, and then we were engaged a year, and then we got married when she was 18, almost 19. Just turned 19, yeah. As far as I can say, we had all good kids. They were all very disciplined, good kids. They never got into any trouble. There was not too much punishment going on because they were good kids. There was no reason to punish them. I have really not much to tell. I was a provider. I was working 6 days a week. Grandma, I have to take all the credit for that. She basically raised the kids, and we bought a house on West 84th Street. Grandma and I, and we lived there. Your dad was born in that house, and oh, that's right, they're all born there. That's right. We had a double house. We had a tenant upstairs, and we lived downstairs. And good memories there. We have fond memories in that old house. We lived there 8 years or so.
We used to live here.
Oh, really?
He was born here.
Oh, okay. Well, they got it on the demolition list now.
Really?
Yeah, they're gonna tear it down.
Oh.
And about, it should be scheduled for the next 30 days.
Really? Tear it down?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Nobody owns it, or it's just abandoned?
It's just been abandoned like for quite a while.
Right.
Right.
Kind of
We've
making
had this one for about 4 years, so it's been abandoned for a good while.
Oh, that was a nice house. There's a nice layout.
And they got it on the demolition list.
Oh my
It's going to be demoed within 30 days.
Yeah, I hear that.
Oh my God.
Grab all your boyhood dreams now. They're over.
I remember when I was a little kid, my dad took me on the roof up there.
Why'd he do that?
Well, there used to be pigeons up there. Pigeons had a nest up
On the top.
way up on the top there. And they would poop all over the place.
Good thing we came when we did.
That's all we had. We just had a little post stamp lot. You should go and see that lot. The house is actually torn down. Yeah, it's a shame. I thought it was the nicest house on the street, and they tore it down. And my grandma and I went there a few months ago, and here it's all grass, a grass lot. The only thing is left is my tree that I planted. Now I have a big linden tree there, which I planted. It's amazing. When you look at that tree, how big it is, and I put it in like a little stick, So that's how time goes. And you look at that little lot, and it's amazing that a big house was sitting on it. Just hard to believe.
Dad planted that tree there.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I remember when you planted that.
Was it a seedling?
Yeah.
I think most of the people that come from Europe were poor to begin with. Hard work and saving and whatever it is. Most of them all became successful in the United States. It is like the land of opportunity if you're willing to work,